What's going on YouTube? It's your boy NK Rudy, and we're coming back to you with another video here, man. If you haven't already, make sure you comment, like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, because YouTube always doesn't recommend when I upload. So when I upload, you will be notified. So within the next upcoming days, EA will be revealing a new game that they're going to be bringing back, a sports franchise game. So it could be one of many, because they've had plenty of games in the past that they discontinued or just haven't made the next updated version of the game. So it could be any of them. There's NBA Live, there's NFL Street, NBA Street, and also SSX, if you guys don't remember that one. If you guys remember, SSX was a snowboarding game. It was run on like the PlayStation 2, and I'm pretty sure it was on the original Xbox console. But today what I'm going to be talking about is which one will EA bring back? And there could be plenty of reasons EA could bring back one of these titles, and it's only going to be one. They only say they're bringing back one. So that's all we know so far, but which one seems the most likely for EA to bring back? And there are two that we're going to get out the way right now. Is NCAA Football and Skate 4. We know that NCAA Football is going to be now known as college football, and they're probably going to put the number behind it, whatever the date is, going to be the year is. We know that for sure. And even with college players being able to get paid now, to be honest, I think they should keep the NCAA name since that just went into effect not too long ago. And with the Skate series, EA did announce that a couple months back. I don't know if it was in early 2021 or late 2020. I can't remember it. But they did announce that Skate will be coming back. And remember, these were two of the most highly wanted franchises of EA to come back. Sport franchises too. These were really highly wanted from the community and their fans. And I've been playing NCAA football since PS2. I think my first one I played was probably NCAA 05 with Larry Fitzgerald on the cover. If you guys remember, the last NCAA game that came out was NCAA 14 with Bernard Robinson on the cover. It came on PS3 and Xbox 360. And with NCAA football, there's a community, a modern community that's been modding PS3 and on PC where you can play. If you have the disc or the download on PS3, you're able to play it somehow. And they've been updating the jerseys and the rosters and stuff like that. And there's always been a community that updated rosters just inside the PS3 and Xbox 360 without mods. And they just updated the rosters where it gave accurate player likeness, because NCAA had their little workaround where they didn't use the players' names, but they used their numbers in like their state and hometown and stuff like that, height, weight, stuff like that. They just didn't use their name. They didn't use like the correct skin tone and stuff like that. That was just a workaround of trying to not pay the players. And everybody who, you didn't even have to be a skater to play this, but this was like the game that was out and it was popular. Skate 3 was the most popular in the franchise. And it came, like I said, it came on PS3 and Xbox 360, and that's the last we saw of that installment of the franchise. Skateboarding game that's ever came out. There's Tony Hawk's, there's Skater XLs, but I'm pretty sure Skate 3 is probably one of the best ones that came out. And Skate 3 kind of fell somewhere in between like sim and arcade. So if you had like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater and then Skater XL, Skate 3 would be in the middle. Somewhere arcade, somewhere sim, but right there in the middle. And I think that's what makes for the best sport type games. You don't want it too sim, but you don't want it too arcadey. You want something realistic, but you want it fun. You don't want it too heavily to one side, because that's what makes the game boring. If you get it too sim, you get it boring. If you get it too arcadey, it's outlandish. It's just like, bro, what is this? And so since we do know those games are coming back, we just don't know if they're going to announce those games. Those two games, like, we know those are coming back. That EA didn't get too specific. So to be honest, they could be announcing those two franchises that they already announced, but they could be showcasing them. We don't know, but I just wanted to get those two out the way and get right into the other ones that were not announced. So the first game I'm going to start off with is SSX. SSX was a snowboarding, and if I'm not mistaken, skiing too. I didn't really play this a lot, but I know of the game, and it was very arcadey. If you could relate it to a game or compare it to a game, it'd be compared to Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, because very arcadey and stuff like that, not very sim-like. And out of all the games, like sport franchise games that EA's made, I think this one, I don't think has the biggest of hype or want from its community or just fans in general. Now don't get me wrong, SSX looks like a fun game to play, and it probably was, but compared to other games, I just don't think it has that traction, and it's not as wanted as fans as much. And with there already being another snowboarder game out that does the same things and not as arcadey, more like I said, somewhere in between sim and arcade, probably more close to sim, is Steep. In Steep, you could ski, snowboard, paraglide, or with the squirrel, so you could do it with the squirrel suit, and there's plenty of other stuff you could do in that game. And I don't think EA would release something if there's already a game that does something better. And there's also a new game doing the same thing that's dropping in, I'm pretty sure, late 2021. It's called Shredders. And so, in Shredders and Steep look damn near the same, so I just don't see EA coming back with another snowboarding game. There's 2 out already that looks like it's going to be those 2 that are competing. And with this new Shredders game coming out, it's saying it's 4 riders by riders. So I'm pretty sure that's the same thing Skater XL did. It said 4 skaters by skaters. So it's going to be like somewhere like closer to like a Skater XL game, or maybe somewhere like Steep. It's going to be somewhere like that. So even though what's this game called, SSX, caters more to the arcade side because you're doing more outlandish stuff, I still don't think it's going to have that comeback. Now, another fan favorite game that a lot of people liked was Fight Night. If you guys remember, Fight Night was the boxing game. It was before UFC. It was bop bop bop. You know I be boxing people, so you know what I'm saying. Chill out. And to be honest, I really do want Fight Night to come out because, like I said, I'm not a fighting game type of person, but I'll play a boxing game. I know boxers and stuff like that. I don't know boxing like that, but I know certain boxers who I'll like to play with and stuff like that. You know, got the Bronze Bomber, Tyson Fury. They might have Ryan Garcia, Floyd. If they have Floyd Mayweather, if you could use older boxers like Muhammad Ali or like Mike Tyson in the prime, stuff like that, I would definitely play that. I would anticipate if they announced Fight Night. And they had multiple games in installment too, but like when PS3 and 360 came out, which is the last Fight Night came out on, I don't know if it had it as big as a crowd and stuff like that, because there's different type of games coming out on 360 and stuff like that. When you went from PS2 to PS3 and from original Xbox to 360, the gaming landscape changed, and it was more people were into like FPS games. And so saying that, as much as I like Fight Night, and I do think there is a community for Fight Night, I don't think that they will be releasing Fight Night. And the reason is because they have UFC. They have a game that's already similar because it's a fighting game, and it's like I said, it's made by EA too, so EA wouldn't want to compete with itself. And I know boxing and UFC have there's two different fan bases, 2 different crowds, but like I said, I don't from business standpoint, I don't think EA would do something like that. I think they would have it more than SSX, but I don't think they would do it regardless of just because they have UFC out. It's very similar to fighting games, so I just wouldn't feel like they would do it from a business standpoint. And another one that I grew up playing myself was NBA Street. This game was very fun coming out. I remember that, I think one of them they had Michael Jordan. They had certain retro players and stuff like that in the game, and it was an arcade type game. And EA had the street sport games on lock. NBA Street Volume 2, probably the best one that came out of this, the best installment of this franchise. And I'm telling a lot of people, if they had brought this back, I think fans would play for nostalgia reasons and stuff like that. And I don't know if they can get back to what it was with NBA Street Volume 2, because they did have 2 other installments released after Volume 2. It was NBA Street Volume 3, and then was it NBA Street Homecoming with Melo on the cover, something like that, but it wasn't as popular, and the series died after that. To be honest, the whole Street genre died after that. And as much as I love NBA Street, and I feel the same way with other people, I think other people love NBA Street. Another reason why I don't see it coming back either is because NBA 2K has another arcadey type game called NBA Playgrounds. NBA 2K Playgrounds. NBA 2K Playgrounds already takes up the street arcadey genre. It's more arcadey, but it's still street, but it just takes up the same landscape that NBA Street does too. Now I do think that NBA Volume 2, in those games in its prime and stuff like that, were better than NBA Playgrounds, but I just don't see it they want to compete in that genre. And I could be totally wrong too. I'm just saying from my perspective, I wouldn't see them doing that. Like I said, they could, but if they're bringing back a sports franchise, I wouldn't see them bringing back that one. And I would love to see them bring it back, but like I said, There's certain ones, like from just a business standpoint, like why would you bring that one back out of certain other ones? Another street sport franchise game that EA made was NFL Street. They had NFL and NBA Street on lock, and to be honest, I think this sports franchise, in my opinion, was better, especially the last installment, NFL Street 3 with Chad Ochocinco on the cover, or Chad Johnson, however y'all want to call him. That was like the best one. I played every one. I had every installment of NFL Street, and they were fun. If y'all remember the wall run-ins, the big hits, and all that stuff, the celebration running to the touchdown, it was like 7-on-7 football or something like that. It was, oh my gosh, it was fun. This was EA in its prime when they were coming out with games, man. NFL Street was it. It was so lit, and I still have it on PS2. My PS2 is in storage somewhere, but those games were fire. And if EA was to bring back a game, a sports franchise, I do feel like it could be this one. But the reason why I say it won't be this one is because of Madden. And be like, well, Madden and NFL Street are two different games, and they are. But in Madden has what is it? The new game mode. Well, they have the yard, which is very arcadey also, but they also have the other game mode. Madden also has Superstar KO, which is I couldn't find the name, but that was the name I was looking for. Superstar KO. So Superstar KO and the yard are both arcade game modes. It gets away from the simulation type feeling, and so that's why I wouldn't think they would bring back NFL Street. So I think they're going to take up that landscape with the yard and Superstar KO with doing like the arcadey stuff. And the yard is more arcadey than Superstar KO, but it kind of just, those two game modes take up what NFL Street was, and those two game modes, they're not competing with NFL Street in my opinion. And I really wish they would bring back NFL Street and make it fun, but like I said, like business wise, like EA is a greedy money company and stuff like that, so the only microtransaction they could do was like probably like certain clothing and stuff like that to get their microtransaction at NFL Street. And so I wouldn't see, like I said, I wouldn't see them doing that the same way they wouldn't do NBA Street, because they can just put that into one game. And so that's why I don't see them doing it. I can see them doing it, but I don't see them at the same time. And so that's what that is. Another game that I forgot to mention earlier was Def Jam. Now, Def Jam came out with two games. They had Def Jam Vendetta and they had Def Jam Fight for New York. And I know technically it's not a sport, but if UFC is a sport, then Def Jam is gonna be a sport too. It's gonna be a sport game, man. It's fighting, it's action, it's damn near a sport. And so you know they was fighting in some wrestling rings and stuff like that. So we can consider that a fighting game. I mean, a sports game, right? It's a fighting game for sure, but a sports game, I think we could put that in EA's category of sport games. Now, I didn't grow up playing this game because I was a kid and my mom wasn't trying to let me play like games with like fighting and shooting and all that stuff. I played GTA on the low. You can't stop me. But Def Jam was one of the games I was never able to get my hands on. I've seen gameplay, I've seen people play, and I've seen at people's houses and stuff like that, but I was never able to play it. But the game always looked fun, and since I never played it, I would like to see that game come back so I could play it. Now, how likely is EA to bring this back? Not likely, in my opinion. As much fun as this game looks, I don't think they will bring it back, just because, like I said, there's fighting games out there. They have UFC, and they wouldn't want to compete in their own genre of fighting. And like I said, this Def Jam is a whole different type of genre of fighting, and it would make good. But like, how could they capitalize and bring in more money for Def Jam? Like you say, oh, you can throw more, like to be honest, they could throw in a DLC, which would be bad though, because no one wants like DLC type that. But they do microtransactions and stuff like that with clothing and stuff. But or like maybe characters, but like I don't know. I mean, they could take the Mortal Kombat route and these DLC characters and stuff like that with like different rappers. But these Def Jam rappers, like not everybody wasn't signed to Def Jam on these rosters, so I'm pretty sure EA could find a way. I just don't see it happening. Even though I would like it for it to happen, I just don't see it happening. And so this franchise has been quiet for a while, but I'm gonna let you know, EA was putting out good games. If you guys remember, they had March Madness and they also had an NCAA basketball. I can't remember if it was the same series or not, but it was their basketball game franchise for college. EA was putting out amazing NCAA basketball games. The last one had Blake Griffin on the cover, and it was actually good too. They had like in like this dribble around shoot around mode. And when you weren't playing a game, you can just shoot around and stuff like that. They don't have like the broadcasting that game was amazing. If you guys haven't already seen my Dear NBA Live video, go watch it. But the NCAA game I think was better than the NBA Live franchise in my opinion, because I like college basketball. The presentation in that game of NBA Live was like amazing. They had CBS, ESPN, the announcers was fun like that. You could do the when it comes around, March Madness came around, like everybody loves March Madness. Oh my gosh. And if you want to know how to do a basketball game right, NCAA 10 was the right way to do it. And around this time, like I said, NCAA, EA and 2K were competing in sports and stuff like that for basketball games. And now with the NCAA freeing up, like with players getting paid and stuff like that, where they could do that, this seems more likely to happen to bring back another college franchise sport game. And there's plenty of reasons that they could and would not do this. A reason they would was because there's nobody doing this landscape right now. No one's doing college basketball sports, and everybody loves college basketball. Everybody likes March Madness in America. I'll say that. Like, everybody likes March Madness. 2K is out here focused on the arcade and the sim game with NBA 2K and NBA 2K Playgrounds, and who's doing college and who did it better? EA used to do it the best. EA is good for its college games, and I'll always give EA credit for that. And I know a lot of people might say, well, EA has been putting out bad NBA Live games and stuff like that. You gotta remember, EA in its prime was good. He was doing these well. I know they kind of like, they messed up and stuff like that, taking years off and just sticking with Madden and stuff like that, NHL. But I actually have, if you have faith in it for NCAA football, I'm pretty sure we should have faith in it for NCAA basketball. I feel like a reason why they wouldn't do this is because they're bringing another college sports franchise back already. A lot of people want NCAA football, and a lot of people want NCAA basketball too, but I just think that since they're bringing back NCAA football, why would they bring back NCAA basketball too? And so EA just might be like, oh, we're just going to bring back one sport, college sports franchise game. It's going to be football. So like, that's the reason why I could see them not bringing back NCAA basketball also. And so the last game that I see EA bringing back is NBA Live. NBA has been on and off since like PS4. They came back with NCAA Live 14. Kyrie was on the cover. I remember they had Damian and Russ on the cover in like 2 different ones, and they took a break 1 year. Came back, took another break because they went to work on their mobile. And after NBA Live 19 with Joel Embiid on the cover, we thought they were going to come back a year after, but they didn't. And so that was weird. And so it was, like I said, if you haven't watched my NBA Live video, go check it out. But I felt like the right time for them to make a comeback was when the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, S, and X dropped, because it was a new console generation. And so maybe they just want to take 1 year off and just like get everything right and stuff like that. And maybe that's true. So maybe they've been working on a game and been waiting to announce it. And like I said, they're going to announce it they're going to announce a sports franchise coming back up. Yeah. And to be honest, the reason why I feel like they're going to, this is the one I actually do think that they're going to bring back. And the reason being is they want to give NBA 2K competition. One, it's a new generation of consoles, so it just makes sense for them to do that. And since NBA Live has been on and off for the past couple of years, it just feels like that's the one they're going to bring back on next gen, and they want to announce that in a big way at their EA Play or EA Live. I don't know what they call it. I think it's EA Play event. And EA Live it's been rough for its past couple of years, but since, like I said, we're on a new system, new console generation, so like that, this would be a good time for them to make their comeback, because I feel like 2K is going like this, and EA is already at rock bottom. You can't get no further than rock bottom. You can go up from there. So that, like I said, it's the perfect time for them just to do that. But I could be wrong in all these, man. But it got to be one of these games coming back. So as they say, it's going to be a reinstallment of a sports franchise game. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Tell me which one you guys think they're going to bring back. If I'm wrong, if I'm right. Tell me your opinions, man. If you haven't already, make sure you comment, like, and subscribe, turn the notification bell, because YouTube always recommend when I upload. I'll be on Instagram and Twitter also too if you want to follow me on there. So, but until next time, it's your boy NK Rudy, signing off.
Back up, if a nigga act up, then he getting clapped up, yeah. Tell your bitch to back up, she just wanna chill, she just wanna split my pack up, yeah.